Hope everyone is well, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. For someone who loves properties, this was, quite nice to explore. So let's start with that, Jessie, and how it was filming in that amazing house.
It was brilliant. It was like a character in itself. And I mean, we were kind of there. I mean, we were literally there. That was that and the kind of exterior landscape, which was a walk away. It was all within 5 minutes of each other, but it was an incredible house. Yeah, we had a good time.
Yeah, we never really. Quite a lot of that house, they hadn't done anything to.
I think they just painted the walls. That was it, really.
Yeah, they painted the kitchen, but by and large, that was somebody's house, and obviously it was fun to investigate the area and for it to become sort of like our working life. But for those people that do actually live there, to go and see this film will be a much more extraordinary experience.
I can imagine. How did you guys work on building the characters, in the sense that, without giving too much away, I feel that they're all interconnected?
How did we work on building them? I suppose we were gifted like quite a lot of rehearsal time before we started, and also I think all of us spent quite a lot of time with Alex individually before we even got to rehearsal. So there was a lot of talking about what it could be. He's very good at not setting anything in stone and prescribing what he wants the characters to be, but he is interested in what the relationships are and where they can go and how they can be something more than stereotypical. So he invests in the reality and the truthfulness and the authenticity of what we create and what we bring to it.
Jessie?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. You just kind of, well, it really starts from the script, first of all, and from that you start reacting to it and seeing it within the world around you, and then within the relationships around you, and then with Alex and with Paapa and Rory and Gail, and I don't really have any idea what I do. You just kind of put lots of things into a pot, and then whatever comes out between you and the day. But it felt really creative and alive and real. Like, even though there is surrealism to this, and it's almost like a fable, like a folk kind of horror fable, it was important that the experience was as real as for us, when we were in it. Like all of those, there's the strange, like there is strangeness in the world and there is horror in the world, and actually living that when we came to shoot it was kind of the most important part.
And for you, Rory, also based on the fact that your character is based on a viewpoint of another character, and there's a lot of layers to it that I don't want to divulge, but how much challenge was there in that?
Yeah, I certainly didn't want to approach it in like as them being representative, and obviously they are to a certain extent, but I didn't necessarily. You can't play the themes, so to make sure that I knew each character just as well as I would do on any other job, just because you were playing lots of them. It just meant your sort of work was, times 10 to make sure that you could be on set and know who these people were, because sometimes you had to sort of be chopping and changing between characters in a single day. So, I mean, it was really exciting in that respect, and really a fun challenge to be able to paint quite so wide with the different characters that you were asked to do. But equally, it was essentially just the same as any job in terms of like creating a character and then relying on instinct on the day.
Is it the right impression that Alex is someone that has a vision of everything, from the way it looks to the way it feels? How is it working with him, and how decisive is he?
Definitely has a vision, but it's also something that isn't, I don't know, he's instinctual, like he was being, the deer, for example, was something which he found off the cuff that then became something that he returned to, and that had he's just so alive to whatever is going on around him, and he really wants to capture something very real and find the strangeness in the realness, then rather than actually project an idea of horror or an idea of surrealism onto it. Yeah.
He also for someone who is very considered about what they put on screen and how deliberate those choices are. He's also very fluid and adaptable to the things that you can suggest or the things that throw themselves up on the day. So, like, to watch his films, you know there has it's not just been thrown together. There's been a great deal of thought, moment to moment in all those films, and particularly in the edit, and that was exciting to see it the first time in terms of the different choices that had been made to put the film together, and the level of care and consideration that had gone into that. But equally, on set, on the day, he's aware that, you know, there's a whole load of people with their own talents and their own interests and their own opinions that he can pick and choose from.
And I think he's brilliant in trusting in those people. Like, I think he's a real kind of, he's got good leadership qualities in the fact that he's good at not getting in the way of other people, like doing their brilliance. I remember when he was talking about the birthing scene to us in our rehearsals, he would talk a lot about what he had in his mind, and then one day he brought in the PowerPoint or whatever of what his VX team had created, and he was talking about how it was so much greater and beyond what even he could have conceived. So for someone who has got quite an auteurish kind of stamp on his work, he's actually just brilliant at letting people kind of like bring their brilliance.
Enabler.
Yeah.
Thank you all. They're wrapping me up, but it's lovely chatting with you, and congrats on the film. Thank you.